We just got some great news for parents who are concerned about what their kids are being taught in public schools. Hi, I'm Stuart Shepard, and this is First Liberty Live. Thank you for liking and sharing our videos each week. It's very helpful to us to get the message out to as many people as we can. This episode is a very special episode because we just got some great news out of California that you're going to want to hear about. First, I want to introduce you to Carlos Encinas. He's the father of one of the students that was involved in this case and that we're representing. Hi, Carlos.
Hi, Stuart. Glad to be here.
And we also have on the line Kayla Toney, who's one of our attorneys that's watching over this. She's an attorney here at First Liberty. Hi, Kayla.
Good, Stuart.
Good to see you. Kayla, first, let's get right to the headline. We just got a significant early victory in a case involving the rights of parents in public schools. What did we just hear that's such big news?
The Southern District of California, which is a federal court, gave us an order last night and an excellent opinion explaining that the free speech rights of Carlos's son and his friend were violated when they were forced to read and listen to a book called My Shadow is Pink and do a gender ideology activity with their kindergarten buddies. And the opinion we got from the judge is very significant because he really adopted our view of the facts and he really believed all of the evidence that we presented to the court. And he adopted our arguments about compelled speech, and he made it very clear that the government cannot force children to speak messages that go against their conscience or that go against their religious beliefs. And in terms of the protection that this creates for students right now in this particular school district, the school district is not allowed to teach them about gender ideology anymore in the buddy class program unless they provide advance notice and opt out. And that's exactly what our clients were asking for all along. They just wanted to know in advance. They just wanted the opportunity to opt out. And now the court has said that the school district has to provide that opportunity.
Now, this is a preliminary injunction, so it's not a final ruling by the judge, but that's very significant to get an early victory in this. Explain the importance of getting a preliminary injunction. Why is it so important?
Yes, it's important because lawsuits take many years, and we don't want our clients' rights to continue to be violated while the lawsuit is pending. And so what the preliminary injunction does is it provides that protection now so that when our client wakes up and goes to school tomorrow, he doesn't have to worry about being forced to do an activity with his kindergarten buddy that goes against his faith. And it means that for students next year in the same school district, they don't have to worry that they're going to be forced to do these activities that go against their faith. And so no matter how long the entire case takes to resolve, the students will have that protection while it's going through the court system.
And reading through the injunction, the judge also explains very clearly that by granting this injunction, it's a signal, it's not 100%, but it's a signal that the judge feels that our side is going to win in this, that we're going to prevail, right?
It is a very helpful signal. Yes, like you said, getting an early win can really show a lot of good momentum. And it can also bring some accountability to the school district. They're starting to realize that they're in trouble here for what they did, and we think there's a strong deterrent effect also on their future actions. They're going to think twice about forcing kids to participate in these types of activities because they know that accountability is there, and we're excited about that.
Carlos, I'm going to turn to you now in this conversation. Share the story with us of what led to this case to this point. What were the fifth graders required to do that came to your attention that led to this whole thing?
Sure. Thanks, Stuart. Yeah, so my son came home and was upset because he was involved in a buddy program at his school district where he spends quite a bit of time with a 5-year-old kindergarten friend. And on this particular day, he was upset that they had to, forced really to participate in a read-along of the book, My Shadow is Pink, and then had to then go to the kindergarten class, sit next to his 5-year-old buddy, and watch a video narration of the same book, and then participate in this activity where they had to pick a color and draw their shadows in a affirmation, if you will, of their gender. And this was really disturbing to him. I was proud, and so proud, even more so, almost a year later. I think we're right at the year anniversary that this took place. That he was able to come home and share that with us as parents, to know that that was wrong. And it's been a journey since. But yeah, that's how this began. And we at that time, we had no idea. As a dad, I had no idea this was going on in our schools. I've since learned so much about uh, some of the agenda that's being promoted. But uh, yeah, it's a good day, Stuart. It's a real good day.
That last thing you were saying is a very important point in this, and that is many parents don't know that these kind of books are being presented to their kids because they think, well, I got an opt out for the health and sex ed class, so we're good. But this agenda is being pushed through other curriculum as well, and many parents, even once they find out, they're going to go, well, it's 2025. This is just what public school is like today. What made you decide to push back and say, no, not with my kids, because this is causing my child to betray his faith?
Well, it started with what I thought was going to be a misunderstanding, possibly just a lack of judgment on the teacher's behalf or someone's behalf. I thought truly that maybe they just chose the wrong book, maybe, went a little too far with what we know is going on in schools. But the way the district responded was almost to make me feel like I was just misunderstanding it, that this wasn't a book about gender identity. I was told multiple times this had nothing to do with gender. I mean, I was told, uh, directly by the principal that this book had nothing to do with gender. And I had to stop, pause, and really like, wait a second, hold on. The author himself says this book is about gender, and now you're telling me it doesn't. And then just, really kind of making not only me, but my family feel like we're not in a good place with how we're thinking, that somehow we're wanting to go after teachers. I mean, it just went in so many different directions. That really, to answer your question, that's really just kind of inspired me personally to push harder to get the right answer on this. And of course, the answer is we're going to do this regardless. We're going to deny your opt out not only once, but twice. And at one point, I had the administrators tell me that, hey, your fight's not with us, your fight's with Sacramento. You got no play with us, and we've got to do this. We're forced to do this. I mean, it was really, yeah, I mean, it's a good day because this is obviously vindication on all those points, right? I mean, to have, some of the most, well, not to have a judge agree with us is just fantastic. I couldn't be happier with reading this.
It's got to be a great feeling to have that early victory in this. Implicit in this whole story is the sense that many school officials in America seem to have today, not all, but many do, that we're the professionals. We know better what's best for your child. You're only the parents, so we're just going to handle this, and you don't even need to know what we're teaching your child. That's got to just tick you off as a parent, right?
Absolutely. And of course, we didn't learn about some of the other facts that came up as we started to uncover more and more regarding the training, the way this material was being promoted. Um, I've been in corporate America I spent 20 some years in corporate America. I've attended a lot of corporate training. And when you read and look at the PowerPoint and the slides and the training material that these teachers are required to participate in, the first thing I thought of is, wow, this is very good presentation. I don't agree with the topic, but the presentation is what you would find in some of the top corporate training forums. And that's how they're presenting this to teachers. And so it's not, it's absolutely intentional. It's well designed to push what they're calling inclusive. We want to be all inclusive, but it's in there, and it's not just a paragraph or a little part. It's a fairly big part.
Kayla, I want to quote you a line from the injunction written by the judge. Now, this is directly from it. It says, "The government may not compel a person to speak the government's preferred messages." This is a First Amendment case, even for elementary students. And that's the part I want you to expound on is you don't lose your First Amendment rights just because you're a kid at an elementary school, right?
Yes, absolutely. Elementary school kids have rights too. And that's what I love about this opinion is that as much as our case focuses on parental rights as well as the children's rights, the judge here was very focused on the children and how, children have a right to believe in God. They have a right to express their faith and they have a right to not be forced to express a message that they disagree with. And this principle, which he really explained very well in the opinion, it goes all the way back to 1942 to a case called West Virginia v. Barnett, where two little kids in elementary school, they were Jehovah's Witnesses who believed that you can only swear an oath to God and no one else. They were forced to participate in a salute and the Pledge of Allegiance, and this went against their faith. Now, this was during World War II, so patriotism was at an all-time high. Of course, it's important to say the pledge, but the Supreme Court held that there's something even more important than patriotism, and that's faith. And these little kids couldn't be forced to go against their conscience. And so, what I love about this opinion is that the judge cited that case, just like we did in our briefing. And he said, yeah, it's the same principle here. Schools cannot force students to say a message that they don't believe or that they don't agree with, or, violate their own religious convictions. And we think that's a really powerful ruling.
I remember many years ago hearing an activist in a conference explaining from the other side that this is part of a long-term strategy by the folks who are pushing this agenda, and they specifically wanted to move this out of health and sex ed curriculum in order to get it, as they put it, under the radar. The radar, of course, being the parents that are concerned about their kids and what they're being taught in school. And that shows up in this case. This is from what the judge wrote. When the parents asked why they did not receive advance notice, it says, quote, "Defendants responded that plaintiffs, that's the parents, had no right to opt out because the buddy class was not part of a health unit. Furthermore, the teachers suggested that similar buddy activities would be provided in the future without notice and an opportunity to opt out." This injunction rejects that strategy that I first heard about many years ago.
Yes, absolutely. And it's also very significant because most states, including California, already require opt outs when this type of material is taught in health class. And even this very district provides those opt outs in fifth grade when the students have their unit on sex ed, which now includes teaching on gender identity. And so the schools absolutely are trying to bring this material in other classes. But we think the judge's order here is pretty strong that that strategy is just not a winning strategy. And the schools do still need to provide that notice and opt out to parents.
What happens next? What's next in this case?
We will continue to fight. This is a long-term case. It's great to have this early victory. We've got some wins in our sails, which is such a blessing. And we will continue to fight. So likely the case will keep going in district court. And we're looking forward to when the judge has a chance to rule on our other claims. So we also brought free exercise and parental rights claims in the case. And the judge here didn't need to reach those because he had such a strong opinion on compelled speech. And that was all he needed to give us the relief that we asked for. But in the longer term, we'll be continuing to press the free exercise and parental rights claims because we think those are also a very important part of this case.
Well, we're very proud of you and also our attorney, Nate Kellum. Kayla and Nate have both been working on this case. You guys are doing a terrific job in pushing ahead with this. Carlos, I'm going to let you have the last word. What is your encouragement to other parents, other families out there who are facing similar issues at their public schools?
Yeah, so first of all the glory goes to God. I know He's got a plan. I know, like Kayla said, this is just the beginning. We got a road, but to the parents out there, I hope that this continues to be a light for them to understand their part in this fight. I think you know, we had to use the courts to get here, and we'll continue to use that. It's unfortunate that we couldn't win this locally with our school board, but that's where parents would have a place to make sure that they use their vote accordingly, that they stay engaged and involved, and just ask the questions that need to be asked with their own teachers. And yeah, I think it's just really nice to have a lot of the support, and now we have this judge who's siding with us so far. So I'm really it's a great day.
We are happy with the good news. I just want to tell you from all of us here at First Liberty, we're proud of you for standing up and for saying what's true in the face of a lot of people who are trying to deceive you and sneak things in under the radar. We're also proud of you for going so far as to putting this into the court system and doing it in such a way that you could get this early victory. That's a great thing. It's a big commitment to take on one of these cases, and we just want to give you encouragement in that. We're cheering for you. Our team here is praying for you on a regular basis. I just want you to know that we're with you through this whole thing.
Appreciate that, Stuart, especially for my son and my wife. They've gone through some pretty significant lows in since then, with our local community, and just people thinking that we're something we're not, only because we wanted not to be a part of it. It's odd how that was painted. The Pink Out the Hate event. I mean, there's a lot that really isn't a part of the thrust of this legal case that has to do with how my son and my wife were treated, and that hopefully people will take that to heart too. That sometimes when you're trying to do the right thing, people want to try to hurt you, and that's a shame.
It really is. Well, you are not alone. We're with you. Thank you, Carlos. Appreciate you making time for us today.
Thank you.
And thank you, too, Kayla. I know you're still out there somewhere. If you want to see America's religious heritage defended, you can make that happen through your support of First Liberty Institute. Just look for the big red Give button up at the top of firstlibertylive.com. First Liberty is fighting for faith and delivering freedom.